Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Paper Tiger. So a couple days ago, I texted one of my friends and I was like, hey, if you could have a Paper Tiger video on anything, what would it be? And they said self-love and appreciating your life more, enjoying the little things and not getting so wrapped up or worried about stuff or putting pressure on yourself. Now, in my experience, when people are like, I want to love myself more, I want more self-love, the first path they go towards is, eating sweets, you know, indulging in movies and TV and, drinking, partying, stuff that makes you really happy in the moment. In my personal experience, what has made me really happy has been discipline. Now, this is even to go as far to say, like, if you are in a relationship and hanging out with that person makes you really happy, I'm not saying don't hang out with them, but when you hang out with them, change it up. Make it a little harder. Don't have it just be you two, laying there, talking, cuddling. Make it a little harder. Go do something active. Go do something that challenges both of you, makes you think. My favorite recommendation for that strategy is to go to a museum because then, the two of you can even split up, go look at stuff and come back and talk about it. And it kind of creates this, conversation. But, how do you cultivate self-love? How do you love yourself? How do you appreciate things? So I sat around and made a giant list, a huge list of all the things that I think help self-love. And the biggest thing that I wrote down was discipline, because in my experience, my lack of self-love comes from an inadequacy feeling that I cannot do something. Whether that is based in fear or based in limiting beliefs, my lack of self-love or putting pressure on myself or like hating myself for stuff causes or comes from an inadequacy feeling that I cannot meet certain expectations that I have put out for myself. So for example, I will have really bad like anxiety attacks in public. And my coping mechanism to deal with that like cortisol spike and that stress is to eat. So I will go and I will eat everything in sight. And because I'm moving and doing this, it takes my mind off, the anxiety. I don't ride through the anxiety. I eat. And then, I'm like, okay, I feel better. I ate, blah, blah, blah. A couple days come by. I'm like, damn, why'd I eat so much? Now, I'm ruining my gains in the gym. Like I'm, not being disciplined. I'm not trusting myself and my ability to withstand anxiety. And then therefore, I don't love myself as much. I pick at myself. I'm like, damn, like I shouldn't have ate that. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. And so in my experience, the best way to cultivate self-love is to be disciplined. Now, I'm not saying, be David Goggins and go 100% hard on yourself, but find a good balance. For me personally, like peak confidence was like summer of like sophomore year, right before junior year. And I had a really good balance going, at least in my opinion, where I would only eat out, like, eat out unhealthy stuff, probably once or twice a month. So, basing off of my memory, I remember we got Pequods when we went up to Chicago and Shapiro's, so it was probably twice in 1 month. And then when I went to London, obviously I had to eat out, but I wasn't like gorging myself, and that allowed me to savor a lot of things. But then also, like, I wasn't not partying. Me and Fletcher were, lodged up in a, like, I don't know, a small ass dorm, so we had to hang out with as many people as we could. And so I would often party and go out and we'd go do things, and I would still drink, but it'd be White Claws or I'd get a Diet Coke just to like do something. But it comes from discipline, and not too much discipline, but like a balance. Like find a way to do the things you want to do, but don't overdo it to get that like sense of like instant gratification, because to me that ruins anything. Like that hurts the most, because after you do that and you feel really good in the moment, then afterwards you're like, damn, why that was not worth it. And you can usually tell, like you can usually do a pretty good job evaluating the situation and whether or not it's worth it to indulge in something. Like, if you're in France and you're not going to be in France again for months, like, yeah, go for it. Or, like, if this new restaurant opened and you want to try it, like, you can enjoy that while also getting something kind of healthy on the menu. I almost said healthy. Anyways, that is very important. Another thing is acknowledging past achievements. So again, going back to that sense of inadequacy, feeling like you are not ready to do something or that you have to do something. Acknowledge your past achievements. So whatever they are, sit there, meditate, take your deep breaths, and be like, okay, remember that time I solo traveled somewhere? That's a really big one. It doesn't have to be that big. I'm trying to think of like small stuff I've done that's really cool. Okay, today, for example, I was thinking about how crappy I felt over the summer and how like disassociated from everything I felt. And I sat there and I was like, damn, look how far I've come. Like, I feel so much better and so much happier and excited. And like, I'm really grateful for that achievement. And boom, it just, self-love goes up. So affirm any of your past achievements, whether they be big or small. I feel like that's very important. Another thing, piggybacking off of that, is being grateful for any, negative moments that have happened in your past. Whether it be something traumatic, something, just a tough time that you went through that maybe was self-inflicted, stuff not going your way. Like, be grateful for that, because without that, you can't get to the good stuff. Not everything is perfect. The only guaranteed thing in life is death and suffering, really. Everyone suffers in one way or another. So, be grateful for it, because then you can build off of it and you get to experience and do all these cool things. So, be grateful for the bad stuff when it happens. Another thing, which I'm totally stealing from a book my girlfriend is reading, is accepting all parts of you. Allowing everyone, every facet of your body to have a seat at the table. I feel like that's very important. So, whether it's something, like for me, I still have trouble falling asleep sometimes, and I get nights with insomnia, and it really pisses me off, and I'm like frustrated for the rest of the day, and I'm like, fuck this, I hate this part of me. When really, if I just accept it and I sit there and I go, damn, he's not so bad, he can stay, it affects me less, and then the next night I sleep better. And so, is there maybe a part of you that you're not accepting, that if you do, it would make things a little more peaceful? I feel like that's important. I feel like you should do that. Another thing, make a list of stuff you want to get done early in the day and have a morning routine. I find that if I have a morning routine where I get some stuff done in the first 1 or 2 hours of the day, I feel great for the rest of the day, because I've already accomplished something. Whether it's big or small, it's still something. And those build up, those little victories build up over time, and you're like, okay, come on, let's go. Like, I can do anything. And it builds confidence, and confidence helps with self-love. So I feel like that's really important. And, even just a morning routine, I enjoy planning stuff out for the day, but sometimes, especially later towards the day, like, it's harder you might have to pivot more. Earlier in the day, especially if you're working or if you're in school, you already have a schedule because of that. So you're like, okay, well, I can fit this in there and this in there. Whereas you're probably going to be more disorganized at the end of the day. So if that's the case, then, I suggest like getting the big stuff done and over with early in the day, because that will really build confidence. So then at the end of the day, you're not worrying and being wishy-washy and like, oh my God, like I have to get this done. This has to, like, oh, I don't know if I have time for that. Like, get it done early and get it done efficiently. Stay off social media. That's pretty self-explanatory. I know that's hard for a lot of people, but if you're not comparing yourself to other people, your brain gets really decluttered really quickly, and you find stuff you're interested in and stuff you want to learn and advance yourself in, and then you're just kind of like, damn, like, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Like, I didn't know I was interested in this, and you get better at it. Building a skill as well. So, going off of that again, finding a hobby is something that you can perfect and build over time. Mine is here and here, and I got books somewhere, in the corner. Not the guitar. The guitar I'm quite shit at, but the books help with this as well. But yeah, building a skill, researching, learning things, it makes you feel a lot better. a lot better than scrolling on social media. And YouTube is not always research. I know sometimes it is, and sometimes it feels like it is, but it's really easy to research on YouTube and then get caught in a rabbit hole doing something else. So read or watch a TV show that covers the same topic. Like if someone, like Geography Now, I really enjoy watching because it helps me learn about other countries. But I can easily go from a Geography Now rabbit hole into something else totally different on YouTube because the algorithm is telling me to watch something, and then I'm like, damn, I wish I lived in, Switzerland and not in America, and America sucks, and blah, blah. I could watch Anthony Bourdain talk about the same country and go there, and there's no rabbit holes on Amazon Prime because it just plays the next Anthony Bourdain episode. So that's a lot easier. Last one that I put on here that is kind of weird. Being around others, especially new people and meeting new people, I find really makes you love yourself more, especially when you're more content with yourself. I find that being around others really lifts my spirits and makes me really excited and happy to be alive, and makes time go by faster, so I feel like that's really important. When you've done the other things first for a little while, you'll be around others and you will feel more engaged and less detached. Like I feel like recently when I've been hanging out with people, I've been very quick reaction wise. Like I've been quick to be like, let's go do this, let's go do that, or let's plan this out and have this set, or let me buy drinks for everybody, here's my card, blah, blah, like that. I feel like I'm a lot more quick to do that than I was a couple months ago when, the whole anxiety spiral was happening and I was just kind of just sitting through the wind and letting everything, kind of happen. So I feel like being around people is very important. And new people especially will, help you, build confidence, which in return helps you love yourself. But yeah, that is kind of everything I could think of. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. I don't really think so, but I think the last thing I'm going to say is be able to sit with your thoughts, because once you can do that, everything else that I just mentioned before this becomes very, very easy. So once you can sit with your thoughts, now this is done through meditation, which is the lame answer nobody wants to hear, but just go on great meditations, goddammit, and sit there and just listen to it and listen to what the lady tells you to do for 3 weeks, a month, do it once or twice a day. Then you'll be able to sit with your thoughts and everything gets so much easier. I swear, please, there's a reason everyone tells you to do this. It's because it works. They're not bullshitting you. And then when you can sit with your thoughts, it's a lot easier to navigate life because you don't feel as jolty and needing to do stuff or pressured to do things, I can just sit on my bed and float in between conscious and unconscious and be like, I'm going to say this in the video, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to work on this. Everything just becomes easier. So that's my number one suggestion. However, it's the least sexy one, so it gets less placement in this video. But anyways, to my anonymous friend that suggested I make this video, I hope you enjoy this. I hope it helps you. Tomorrow, I am planning on doing a video on some sort of creative exercise, but I don't know what yet. So we'll find out. Anyways, adios. Thank you guys for watching.